This video is sponsored by Sound ID and Corsair. From the beginning of 2008 through to the end of 2009, I spent a lot of my time playing on the Wii, but the main game that I would play was Animal Crossing City Folk. I'd spend all my time fishing, catching bugs, and paying off that mortgage. Every now and again, I would then head into the city to get my haircut or find a fancier looking set of clothes. It was able to keep my attention for months on end, and probably a whole year. I've always found myself coming back to Animal Crossing over the years of its different releases, but other games to fully take my attention away from it were the likes of the Call of Duty releases, Destiny, Skyrim, and the Assassin's Creed franchise. However, I always found myself going back to two games in particular: Animal Crossing and Minecraft. Both games are truly relaxing and don't make us annoyed, but are simply feel-good games. What I've always questioned is why is it that I always want to go back to these games when on a surface level they can be really boring. They're games that don't set off the normal desires of people playing games. So that's where this video comes in. I wanted to spend some time and talk about these types of games and try to learn exactly why I always find myself wanting to come back to Minecraft, Animal Crossing, and Stardew Valley. What is it that all of these games have in common that makes me want to go back to them whenever new releases happen? Because they aren't exactly overly stimulating. For us to begin though, we need to talk about what makes a game relaxing and what the differences are between a relaxing and comfortable game, as a lot of people definitely conflate those two things. As an example, someone who enjoys Elden Ring and has become a seasoned player who then starts to find the game completely relaxing is completely different to the way the game was designed and whether or not it was designed to be relaxing in the first place. When the average player starts playing Minecraft, they know they need to survive the night, but for the most part, they can just enjoy and chill out the experience of mining and hopefully not falling to their death. But most importantly, you can experience just building that house you want, building the farm you've desired, and starting that project you've dreamt of for years. A lot of that creates the relaxing experience that you'll have 99% of the time. One that can lead to boredom, but typically drives us forward due to the enjoyment of making progress towards those desired goals, or simply just trying to find something to enjoy in those moments to take away from the real stresses of the real world. A game like Elden Ring is designed to be difficult. The game knows that people are probably going to get more and more wound up each time they fail to kill a boss. However, for a select few, they end up actually finding this game relaxing due to the eventual familiarity with the product. Skyrim is my comfort game. I've made an entire 42-minute video that is basically a love letter to the game, mainly due to the fact that it's my comfort game growing up and even into adulthood. I always find my time equally relaxing to something like Minecraft or Animal Crossing. However, I know the game was not actually designed to be like that. The game has moments of relaxation when you're walking through a town, or just walking through those open vistas of the amazing soundtrack that's playing in the background. But that isn't most of your time when you're playing the game. You'll find yourself slightly stressed out during certain encounters against dragons, mages, and trolls, and the music changes to add to that intensity. It's not necessarily a hard game, however, that doesn't mean that it's a relaxing one by nature. What it is for me is simply comfort. I found myself becoming incredibly familiar with the game world to the point where, for me, nothing phases me anymore. When I'm walking around, nothing is particularly surprising. The random encounters are recognizable, so it doesn't change how I feel. All of it is incredibly natural for me. Some would say that this would be boring, but for many of us, we have our favorite games that we want to go back to every now and again. Games like these become relaxing for us, but they aren't meant to be for the majority who play it, or at least they weren't designed to be. A game like Animal Crossing wants you to feel like you're playing the video game equivalent of getting a massage. It wants you to lay back and relax, while the typical Animal Crossing music is going on in the background, and someone is then approaching you trying to talk to you whilst you're fishing, with fishing probably being the most stressful part of Animal Crossing. However, it's nothing more than some sounds of water and a bobbing fishing hook. It is designed from the ground up to be a relaxing experience, and not to make you feel as if you are being rushed throughout the entire time. The most that the game does to rush you is giving you a whole month to catch an insect or that fish. However, if that is what being rushed feels like for you, I wish I could join you in your life. So to wrap up the differences between a comfort and relaxing game, it's simply down to if the experience was designed from the ground up to be relaxing. If the first time that you played that game, you felt on edge or worried or found yourself breaking a controller due to the amount of anger that it caused, it probably wasn't a relaxing game. but you found yourself eventually falling in love with it and eventually becoming so comfortable with it that it became relaxing for you. Whereas a game like Animal Crossing is so relaxed that, again, the most stressful thing is having to come back every single month to hopefully catch those insects before they go away, or paying a little raccoon man back his money for the mortgage that you have on his house, whilst you can sit back, fish away until retirement. I want to talk about 3 games that I would class as the perfect examples of relaxing titles, with Minecraft, Animal Crossing, and Stardew Valley. Just going over how each game is slightly different, from moments of worry to some having none at all. We'll spend some time and talk about what creates these experiences to make a game more relaxing and enjoyable in the process. So to begin with, let's jump into the world of Minecraft. I'm going to be talking about survival, as this was the original version of Minecraft that most people played, and for me was the one that I got introduced to way before creative was a thing. We all find ourselves wanting to play the game for around a 2-week stint every single year. This game is by far one of the most relaxing games that you can play, or at least it was at one point. I'm not too sure as of right now, due to the fact that the amount of times that I've tried to go mining and found myself falling to my death due to the colossal sized cave systems that were introduced a couple of updates ago. With the game though, we find ourselves starting off in a brand new environment every single time. It automatically creates this sense of feeling as if the world is ours. When we play other games out there, we know that everyone is having the same experience as us, and that's where the uniqueness of Minecraft came in. Unless you're giving out your seed, or by some miracle, someone else ends up somehow getting your seed, which is practically impossible, then this world is yours. It gives it a sense of uniqueness and value that other games just struggle to do. It creates a personal experience with us. At the beginning, you'll have one goal, and that is simply to survive the night. So what should you do? Well, you can collect some resources by punching trees and cornering some cows for their meat and leather. You'll build your first little house, and it's starting to become something that you are creating. It's something that you know you're going to work on over time, but for now is good enough. It's that little 5x5 little wooden shack that you'll feel safe in within these walls. You'll get to cooking that meat, and as the music changes and the night hits, you'll hear the noises of the outside world, but you're safe. You're relaxing in that safe hut that you've created. Your house might be lit up by the cooking of some food, or a couple of torches that you have. Either way, the coziness will start to set in as that building that you've started is becoming more like your home. Minecraft utilizes our imagination and desire for progression to create the perfect sandbox that will keep us coming back due to the fact that there's nothing truly infuriating, but still gives us a sense of difficulty that will keep you on your toes. This game utilizes what we know from psychology. If you're winning all the time, that can be fun. However, for your opponent, not so much. So you need to let them win every now and again to allow the other in this situation to continue to come back and play. However, this game doesn't have an inbuilt person that you're up against, but it still deals with this exact same issue of a winner and loser. If the winner is constantly winning and it doesn't take much effort to do so, the game will become boring. So it ends up giving you enough challenge at the beginning to not make you feel bored. And it ends up, over time, creating this sense of attachment to the world that you've created, that even something like a creeper coming around the corner could be that enemy that could completely screw up your day. You'll feel this desire to make your house your home base, as cozy as possible in comparison to the outside cold world and nature-filled exploration. You want to make a place for those villagers you bring over. Depending on the type of person you are, you might make some questionable places to slot them in. However, you may want to make something that's cooler than the simple villages that we get within the world. You'll bring cows, sheep, pigs, chickens and horses to create stables and land to live in for those animals. You'll create potato patches, new rivers, and a smithing area. However, once this is all done and you've created your utopia, you'll realise that the game becomes a bit too relaxing. And this is where most people will stop. The world will be forgotten, but the feeling of being relaxed in this world and having your cozy home will always remain and creates that desire to come back eventually. What Minecraft does really well for many of us is that it makes us feel at home, as this, for many of us, is probably the first time that we had the true ability to get lost in a world that was our complete own creation. If you're like me, this game came out in a time in your life where you're at an age where moving out was not a possibility and your own space you couldn't really change, so you were able to have complete freedom in what you designed. It's something that we simply didn't have available to us, and Minecraft would allow you to have that creative outlet to create the house of your dreams or anything of your desire. Minecraft was able to sink its teeth into people due to its ability to heavily personalize the experience for everyone, and in turn, due to the mixture of music, sense of urgency, and its relaxed nature, made everyone feel at home and relaxed within this experience. Now let's spend some time and look into Animal Crossing, which is definitely more interesting for me. I found myself, like many others, for just a couple of months throughout lockdown, getting lost in New Horizons, which is by far the best Animal Crossing game. The reason why I said that this was way more interesting for me is that this game doesn't have anything on a surface level that makes it difficult. I don't believe that there is anything that necessarily stops this game from being boring. However, I actually believe that this might be a part of the experience. Now, before someone says something along the lines of, a game that is boring is a poorly made game, just wait and let me explain something. Animal Crossing incorporates one thing that makes moments of boredom not feel truly boring, and actually establishes a lot of what makes relaxing games really great, and that is the use of time. I know that might not sound like something that's particularly outstanding, but is definitely a game changer for many aspects of this game, as this game syncs with real life time and allows us to know what the time is in real life, and allows you to do nothing except for being on this island within our own world's time. It's not necessarily anything artificial, let's say like a Minecraft day, however it's attached to our real life time, so it ends up really making you aware of you're spending decent amounts of time in this game, but you're enjoying the experience, which ends up making us way more connected to the world that we're playing than others that struggle to do the exact same thing. This game will make you think at 9 PM when you've just finished off having dinner and you're watching a little bit of TV before bed that you should jump on to Animal Crossing for half an hour to an hour to catch some of those fish you haven't caught before. It makes the experience feel interconnected with our life and acts in a way to solely focus us on something outside of our own reality. The best comparison that I could make is that when I go for a run, I always find myself in a state of meditation as my body is solely striving to survive, and finding its only core function being that it needs to complete that task. And what that does is mean that I have no time to truly think about everything else outside of just running. With a game like Animal Crossing, when you're playing the game, which is designed as stress-free as almost any game gets, it will allow you to feel so connected that you can only think about what's going on in that moment. The fish that you're catching, the bug in the distance that you're trying to get, or shooting down something so that you can design something cool for your village. It allows you to completely disconnect from reality into the relaxing game, in an attempt to give you a meditation-like experience, with your only focus being on the game world and what it has to offer, and due to its lack of urgency, you know that you can do it at your own pace. And urgency is definitely a big thing for Animal Crossing, as yes, you might have bugs to catch, however, they'll be around for the whole of September, or that loan to pay off. However, you could wait a month, 2 weeks, or even a whole year to pay it, and there is no deadlines. You know that there is nothing that will negatively affect you if you don't pay off that mortgage, but you also know that you'll have plenty of positives for doing so. The game never feels like it's pressuring you to do the next thing, to upgrade your home, or to catch that fish. As simply put, they know that next month there'll be a new set of things to catch, people will come visit your island, and tomorrow there'll be new items in the shop. Next week, next month, in the worst case scenario, you might not be able to catch that fish for a year's time, but overall, it's not like it's not going to happen ever again. Unless, of course, you decide to do some time jumping. I used to be a time jumper when I was younger on the Wii, however, I don't do it anymore. I just don't enjoy the experience. I think it ruins the experience of Animal Crossing in my opinion. Animal Crossing is able to utilize only two things to create this relaxed nature: our time and a lack of urgency. Those two things mixed in with the game looking cute makes the experience even more enjoyable than it might have been before it. And then we have Stardew Valley, which definitely blends both approaches into one game. This is definitely the child of three games out there: Minecraft, Animal Crossing, and has a few similarities, more down to, the way it looks in certain other aspects, to Don't Starve. It is a game that is designed, again, from a surface level to be completely dull. If you were to watch someone playing it, you'll probably end up questioning what is going on and why it's even enjoyable in the first place. But it utilises a lot of what makes the other games good. It has the sense of progression and in-game community, something that Minecraft makes you permanently feel alone, but is something that can be worked on. With Animal Crossing, you end up feeling permanently like you are just the one in charge of the whole village. However, in this game, you're just that farmer who moved in the local village. You get the feeling of progression with the interesting farming options, growing your revenue, and having a good time in this chilled out world. It's able to make you feel at home because it's got its cozy game aesthetic wrapped up in a nutshell. Something that I'm definitely interested in talking about in a future video is this whole idea of life aesthetics and how that can draw people into different games. However, all of them share this. You can definitely imagine having a cozy day in, it's raining outside and you've got a candle burning, and what better way than to spend it in this 2D pixelated cute world. Stardew has the same thing as Minecraft and Don't Starve, in which it provides you with many mechanics for you to learn, but also embraces the aspects of what makes Animal Crossing such a good game. So let's talk about those exact things. What makes a good and relaxing game? There are many things that can create a relaxing game, however I believe there are 5 areas that if any game was to master, you'll end up creating a truly relaxing title, that for others you may spend a 2-week stint playing, or others having an entire year to play it through. You'll find that any game that has all 5 of these things to be flourishing in the world of relaxing games. The first of which is the use of time. All games that are relaxing use time. However, they don't use it in the same way as others. Games like this use time as a way to feel like you're progressing. It's also used in a way to not make you feel like you're being rushed or like you're falling behind. If you know you've only got a couple more hours to catch that fish in Animal Crossing, you'll know you'll be fine because tomorrow you can come back at the same time and you'll probably find it again. With connecting some form of time, whether it's the Animal Crossing approach where they relate our time to the game world or a 20-minute cycle that you'll find within Minecraft, they both end up using time as a bonus feature that adds more to the world than it takes away. In the FPS world, it's normally a bad thing. If you're lacking time, this means that you're guaranteed to either be losing or the pressure will be on. However, in Stardew, time just means how long your crops will grow and your energy levels. Time can also be used to help the player also feel this sense of change. An example of this would be Minecraft. It doesn't become dull really quick, because the night acts in a way to either scare you away from leaving the confines of your cozy home, or acts as another way to play the game, or acts as another way to play the same game with you running around and hunting down those mobs that have just spawned in. Time should be utilised in almost all relaxing games, and even other games out there. Time allows us to feel this sense of connection to the world that we're in. As we see the rise and fall in our own world, you end up seeing it as well within the game. We all know what it felt like when we were younger, when it was at night time. Our minds would be able to go wild with wonder. Games like Skyrim, The Witcher, and Red Dead have a time cycle, but they all choose to either act in a way to create a peaceful nature that no one else is going to be out at this time, or a sprawling nightlife in a city. And for others out there, maybe it's an increase in crime and monster killing. Having a sense of time in any game opens up the door to having 2 games in one. But what it does for relaxing games is allows it to feel as if the pressure is off. Many games like Skyrim will have quests where you feel as if you're being rushed. Stop the world from being destroyed by dragons, because surely if we were to wait, the world would actually get destroyed. Obviously, if you've played Skyrim, you know this isn't the case. However, what it means is that a lot of people end up rushing the main story because they believe that there is a reason for the urgency. Whereas in Animal Crossing, you can just walk around and enjoy your time. If it's raining or the sun is shining, you'll feel at peace within this place, as you're able to take it at your own pace. With time, you also get patience, which is something that people often confuse as boredom. With the time in Animal Crossing, you can just see the entire inventory of a vendor, which will change by day, giving us a reason to come back in the future. However, what truly helps these games is that the time is mixed in with this feeling of you not being pressured to progress quickly. How these games use time helps us create the next important aspect of relaxing games, and that is having a slow and relaxed progression system. Most people don't feel relaxed when they're stuck having to deal with the next task and getting it done as soon as possible, whereas this genre has the ability to give you goals and items to achieve that are designed to make you feel as if you're progressing through the game at your own pace. Animal Crossing is a great example of this. You have loads of different things to focus on. However, the goal of New Horizons is nothing more than making your island as fun and personalised to you. They want you to make your island a 5-star island, and on top of that you have a load of mini things that you can get done. However, none of it feels like you are being rushed. You never feel as if you need the perfect island tomorrow. You always feel as if you'll have the perfect island eventually. Stardew Valley does the same thing as Minecraft. Minecraft, however, doesn't tell you what you should be doing. It's only limited by your ability and imagination. I think a big part of these games that we end up loving is that they demand enough attention to be fun, but they're all games that you can simply vibe out to with your own music, or having a movie on, or watching a YouTube video in the background. They're games that are fun enough to enjoy, but they don't demand so much of your attention that means that you can't have something else on in the background. One of my favourite things that I love doing when loading into a new Minecraft world is just sitting and getting through my Watched Later playlist. It means that I can concentrate enough on doing both, and feel as if I'm not getting bored of one or the other. Could you argue this is just a Gen Z brain?
Perhaps.
I also think that a lot of people play games like this, and it's not because you necessarily dislike playing the game and need something else to have on in the background, but simply put, you know the game enough that you can play it on autopilot and enjoy the experience whilst doing something else at the same time. The lack of demanded attention that these games bring is something that every game that is within this genre wants to master, as it also helps towards playtime. Or at least, I think it does. An example of this would be my near 300 hours in Civ 6. I love the game, but I also watch YouTube videos endlessly when I'm playing it. It's because the game doesn't require my full attention. I'm not trying to survive in a battle royale or wandering the world of The Witcher that is designed to be immersive. I guess that is what most of these games do more than anything. They don't care necessarily about immersing you entirely within the world, and care more about you just having a good time and a relaxing time at your own pace. Even though I mentioned listening to your own music earlier, I do want to point out one thing, and that is a lot of these relaxing games have their own soundtrack to match. When you hear the Animal Crossing music, you can't help but feel laid back. This is more for one of the first times you play the games, as music is probably one of the most important things that affects all types of media. From games like Skyrim having such an amazing soundtrack, that you'll rarely hear anyone try and say that they've had to add mods to change it, to the way that if you change the music in the background of any form of film or TV show, it can go from fun and bubbly to serious and demanding of your attention. Within all of these games, they have the cutesy music that acts as nothing more as an amazing soundtrack to have as your white noise machine. For a game like Minecraft, I typically turn off the soundtrack due to my just ability to find it annoying. I think that's primarily just because I've played it so much, and that I played it so much when I was younger that you kind of eventually find it annoying, but I found myself on my most recent time playing through the game leaving it on, and I couldn't help but find myself having my nostalgia take over, which is an essential part of music in any game. Music plays a massive role in our lives. You can probably think of a type of song that you were listening to when you were going through a rough patch in your life or everything was going perfectly. Music acts as a timestamp for your life, and gaming soundtracks are no different. When I hear the Minecraft laid-back music, it takes me back to when I was 8 years old and I was playing games on my clunky HP laptop. This is something that's really important for relaxing games and games in general, as this can set the vibe for the game that you're playing and moving through for the rest of this experience. And it ends up becoming a time capsule to reignite that lost memory of playing a specific game. Talking about audio, let's take a minute to thank today's sponsor, Corsair and Sound ID, who sent me out the HS80 Max headset about a month and a half ago for me to test out and talk about over the next few videos. I've been really excited to partner with them because I've used Corsair headsets in the past. I also use their parts within PC builds that I've done, so that is one thing that I absolutely love, and I'm happy that I can work with them. And one thing that's amazing is that they've given me the okay, the green light to completely talk about this product in whatever manner I like. So I could talk about the negatives negatives, I can talk about the positives. However, so far, I've not had a negative experience with it, and I've been using this headset now as my daily driver for playing games for around 2 months now. For games like Minecraft with the new Cherry Blossom updates, well, not that new, but me and my girlfriend find it new anyway. And then on top of that, playing through games like Starfield for the first time and enjoying that experience, hearing it through some premium audio and also sound calibrated audio. In terms of the actual build quality of this headset, it is really nice. In terms of the materials, absolutely great. I'm someone who's never been a big fan of gaming headsets. I've always found them too bulky, just a bit too gamery, and I feel like this is the perfect blend of just sleek and gamer aesthetics, basically. I think it just looks good. It can sit on my desk without me feeling as if it just looks ugly, as if it's got 2 turbochargers on the side. This just looks nice. It does the job really well, and also it's really comfy for both your ears and your head. Something that I haven't spoken about on this channel at all, and I didn't mention in my first video talking about it, which I probably should have because it makes my point better, is that I have hearing sensitivity issues, in the sense of my hearing is just a bit sensitive. When I hear loud noises, it isn't particularly great, especially if it's, let's say, a knife going on a plate or plates crashing together. That absolutely ends up making my day worse. And one thing is in games as well. When I get flashbanged in CSGO, it's awful for me. When I'm cracking shields in Apex Legends, it's awful for me. I hate the audio, it's just a bit too loud, and for me, that's ruined a lot of the experience and put me off playing many of these games. However, Sound ID are working with Corsair on this headset and have brought their audio enhancer with them, and with that, it basically means that you can now have a good gaming experience, a great audio experience, whilst wearing an amazing quality headset. And when I talk about the sound calibration, what you're going to see on screen now is my results, and basically what this shows is that both of my ears are hypersensitive, or at least fairly sensitive, to very high-pitched noises and certain frequencies. So for things like doors creaking in games, flashbangs going off, or just generally overly loud sounds for a lot of games that are just used to make an impact, it can be pretty uncomfortable for me when I'm playing the game. And for others out there, you might find the same thing, or you might find that you're in the opposite direction, where you might need audio enhancement to make it at least a little bit louder for you. With this, it basically means that you can have a tailored gaming experience that works for you and gives you something of value. It allows you to actually have a headset that is, one, great quality as I said, and also the audio experience is tailored to you to make that experience as good as it possibly can be. So to sum up, if you want a great audio experience within the package of a great quality build, a great headset, great comfort, great audio experience, and as well a great mic, all of that put into one is the HS80 Max. I'd 100% recommend using it. It is the first proper sponsor I've had on this channel, and I've been very specific with who I want to work with on this channel. So it is something that I personally really enjoy using. I hope you guys enjoy using it as well. If you want to check it out, it will be linked down below if you are interested. Make sure to go check it out. And they've helped me sponsor today's video, which basically means that I can improve the quality with the likes of the editing experience and the storytelling experience. So if that does interest you, please make sure to go support Corsair and Sound ID with that link down below. And thank you again to both companies for sponsoring today's video. The last and probably most obvious thing that these games have is a cozy vibe. All of the games that are built to be relaxing all have this same sort of image that you could see on someone's monitor in those photos where it is raining outside, the autumn has started, and a candle is lit. All of them ooze this sense of a cozy world. So when you mix together the cozy aesthetic of the art styles, the gameplay, the music, use of time, progression, and how it's not overly demanding on you, it creates this amazing sense of being chilled and being relaxed. They create worlds that we can leave to when hours becomes too stressful, for a half an hour to an hour, and completely feel as if the only thing that we need to be doing right now is shaking down some trees for some money in Animal Crossing, building that extension to our farm in Stardew, or just going mining in Minecraft. The question that I've thought on many times in the making of this video, but on top of that, just in general when thinking of this topic, is how do they stop this from being boring? And after a while of thinking about this, I believe the answer is they don't. I believe the creators of these games aren't trying to make them as dopaminergic as the likes of Call of Duty and Apex Legends, but they act as a space for you to come back to. They aren't designed for you to be playing necessarily all the time. The reason why you see this idea of a 2-week Minecraft addiction as such a normal idea is because Minecraft does become boring after around 2 weeks. We always desire to jump back into those worlds that we've played previously, or to start a new one, and that is simply because Minecraft is not a game that most people play for the long run, but is a game that they will come back to over time. When I spend a year and I've played nothing that is a cozy or relaxing game, I always find myself having that desire to jump back into one, as I don't want to spend every single gaming experience in the same heightened stress levels as trying to clutch a 1v5 scenario in CSGO Ranked. And because of that, I don't necessarily think that they go out of their way to make the games less boring, but simply put, they make them a vibe instead of a game. And due to the fact that I don't want to go back and play them every single day, but I always find those moments of wanting to jump back in, there's always a reason for that. And one part of that is just that I think these games are much more of a vibe and created to be such than necessarily a game. Yes, they are a game in the sense that you are playing them. However, you go to them for the way that you feel when you are playing them. When I play Rainbow Six, I am seeking that feeling of adrenaline when I'm going to clutch up a situation, or that sense that I am better than the other players. However, one other reason why I'm going to it is because it's a great shooter. The mechanics work and the gameplay feels solid. When I go to play a game like Minecraft, which is a great game, but I wouldn't say it's a great game for anywhere near the same reasons as you would say R6, and what it doesn't have in comparison is the addictive nature of a competitive shooter, or the gameplay to keep you hooked. But what it has is its vibe, and with that, it's the desire to go back and play later on, as that is something that very few games can master. We all need these sorts of games in our lives for one reason, and that is an outlet. A place to feel cozy, not somewhere to feel on edge. You already get enough of that from your own life, and you don't need that from every single game you play. You can still enjoy the likes of Call of Duty or Valorant, but you can't get the same feeling you get when playing a relaxing game from them. A game that is designed to make you feel at peace, as you aren't doing anything that is particularly hard or overly mundane, but is just enough to make it an enjoyable experience and not boring at every single moment. I always want people to have a takeaway from every single video I make, from the likes of my Assassin's Creed 2 video and explaining about how it impacted the world of games, or maybe that you might need to take a break from games, and today is no different. If you're going to take anything away from this video, let it be this. If you're going to have a load of games in your roster, for a few games that you're going to play throughout the whole year, make sure at least one of them is a relaxing game. You might have that comfort game that you go back to often. However, what I'm on about is a game that is purely designed to be a relaxing experience and nothing else. Load up a new Minecraft world and create yourself a few goals that you want to hit. Make that castle you always dreamed of when you were younger and use it as a getaway from your life for a couple of hours a week. Maybe buy a Nintendo Switch if you have the money to spend on it, or just buy Animal Crossing if you already own one. Vibe out to the music, do some fishing, and build your island. Have a game that you love that allows you to feel at home and relaxed. It will truly add to your gaming experience and will open a load of options up for you of new games to play. And with that all being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's a different approach to some of my other videos, so I'd like some feedback on if you like this kind of more laid back style to it, and hopefully it was a all-round good video for you. If you want to support the channel in any way more than just a subscription, because obviously that's always helpful. If you want to subscribe to the channel, if you enjoyed the content, absolutely amazing. And if you want to leave a like on the video because you enjoyed it, again, absolutely amazing. But if you do want to support the channel any further, you can always check out the Patreon link down below. You can sign up for just one coffee a month, and yes, basically that just means that you get early access to these videos. And on top of that, if you want to come join a community of people who are just chatting, talking about games, talking about other little bits, and just enjoying everything, then make sure to join the Discord down below and come join the Exiled Ones Discord. With that all being said, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Next one should be out in about a couple weeks' time. I think it's about a topic that will be interesting to see some people's reactions to, as I think it's not really a topic that necessarily gets spoken on in games. It gets spoken on in self-improvement, but I've brought it into the gaming world. So I'll be interested to see how people think of it. And with that all being said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, leave a like, do subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.